Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update.
So speaking of the similarities between the CAT exam pattern and the IIFT exam pattern, CAT I had three sections: VARC, LRDA and Quant. So in the similar way here I have 5 sections which are similar to these 3 sections. So only one section which was different was general knowledge. So the preparation has to be adapted as such. Although the names of the sections were same, but the time crunch was different, and in CAT I had particular time for particular section, but IIFT doesn't have that. IIFT has that flexibility where you could allot your time to a particular section, or you could strategize as per your strengths and weaknesses. Historically, IIFT's difficulty has almost been at the similar level of CAT, but during my time, as quantitative mass crunching, number crunching was my strength, I felt this was an easier section in IIFT, but CAT this time was a bit tougher in those 2 sections, and verbal in CAT was easier this time around. But in IIFT, we had a longer comprehensions this time. This was basically the difference in the difficulties. In DI, we had smaller sets, and the number crunching was not very tough because the calculations were very easy. But in CAT, they were a bit cumbersome. IIFT's logical reasonings were smaller sets, again similar to data interpretation. The sets were around, they took me 4 to 5 minutes to solve each set. So wherein I could solve around 3 to 4 questions. But CAT is a bit lengthy while solving logical reasoning questions. It takes me around 11 to 12 minutes. So this was the difference. So during my mocks, I used to take 2 mocks. My percentiles in the initial days around 93 and 94. They were skewed totally by quantitative and LRDI. I used to be very bad at VARC. In VARC, I used to score around 75 and 80. During the end days, right before my CAT and IIFT, I scored around 98.5 to 99.5, where I improved a bit in VARC. I used to score around 93, 94 in VARC. And my quant and LRDA remained the same, it was about 99.5. In VARC, I wasn't able to read between the lines while reading the reading comprehension, and my reading speed was very slow. It used to take me around 4 to 5 minutes in reading the comprehension, then while reading the question, again coming back to the comprehension. So I couldn't remember the gist of the comprehension. And also, all my parajumbles answers used to be wrong. So that's where I focused most of my preparation part on. So I used to take sectional mock tests. I used to spend more of my time on this part. Then speaking of LRDI, so I used to take long time, around 15 to 20 minutes solving a single set. Although I used to be successful at the end, it used to kill most of my time. And I couldn't strategize in the initial days because there were 8 sets. In the initial days, I was starting right off with the first set. But later moving to the end, what I did was strategize according, first look at all the sets, then strategize accordingly. Then speaking of quant, I was a bit bad at geometry. So again, I used to take the same sectional mock test. So I was also working during my preparation. My day goes like this. So morning around 9, I used to leave for my office. Coming back at around 6, 6:30. By 7:30, I'll start my preparation. So I used to take 1 or 2 sectional mock tests. If time permits and if I'm not very asleep, I used to take a full length mock test. This is on a particular day. Then on the next day, I used to analyze these mocks. Look at the solutions, look at the alternative solutions, and again solve the paper again. So first I used to solve the paper. There might be this thing that while solving the paper, you might be in that stress, you might be feeling a bit tensed. So there you might go wrong. So I thought whether I'm going wrong or it is because of the exam feel that I'm going wrong. So that's why I spend around 10-15 minutes solving the test paper again. Then again, I look into the solutions. I used to note down all my weaknesses, where I went wrong, so as to make sure that in the next exam, I won't be making the same mistake again. So this is how I used to schedule. GK was the only main difference between CAT and IIFT. I thought to give both these exams initially. So that's when I even started my preparation for GK and current affairs all together with my CAT preparation. Because I was working, I used to download few apps wherein like InShots and LiveMint, where I'd be getting notifications, and I used to maintain a note down important current affairs going on in the recent days. So that's how I started. And after coming back from my office, I used to just go through that day's particular news. I used to skim through, not dive deep through it, because I know this also would be useful to me in my group discussions and also may be useful in my personal interviews. I gave a long shot and prepared as such. So this helped me in exam and the group discussions further. score in IIFT was 99.92 percentile. In CAT was 98.87. In NMAT it was 232 marks. And in XAT it was 97.9 percentile. Then I gave my IIFT interview. IIFT GD topic was electric cars and the future of electric cars in the next coming years. Then my GD went very well. I gave around 5 entries in 15 minutes, and my first 1 minute where they given for all the candidates, even that went pretty decent. That was also one of the IIFT seniors, the media committee. They gave us a compendium, included the current affairs topics and the probable GD topics, which was burning topics back then. So this was also one of the topic, and also in the IMS compendium also this was a topic. So I was very versed with the topic. Then my personal interview was a bit of a shock. It was mostly skewed to quantitative analysis. They asked me questions on probability, and again out of nowhere that went on to what my learnings were from my father, because he had a marketing job. They asked me what were your learnings from your father, how you're inclined towards us. This went on very well because I had some of the learnings from my past experiences. So I was very well prepared with my whole CV and all my experiences. That one question which I thought I'm sure I'm getting into IIFT because I answered this question pretty well. It was again the same question where they asked me what were your learnings from your father. My father was an LIC development officer, wherein most of his work they involved marketing research and leadership qualities at the same time, general management and business development at the same time. Keep having an onus on him, responsibilities over him, and again delivering results. I mean, he used to be my hero. This motivated me. So therein I got a little bit of pinch of this thing. He also used to provide me a bit of financials, how the P&Ls work. Although coming from an engineering background, I had a little bit of idea of how the statements work even before coming here. This came in naturally to me because that's what I have been seeing in from 20 years. So after answering this question, so I was pretty sure I'll be getting into IIFT.